Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 643 for the 28th of November. And there is a geolocation. Before I start to go through all the different things that's happening around the front line, I just want to go to the Svatove Front first. This is Svatove, and at the Svatove Front, kind of in the south of Avdiivka, or actually if you may be more familiar with Nadia Serhievka in the northwest of it. There is a geolocation of Leopard 1. This is the first time Leopard 1 have been seen operating at the front line. And this Leopard 1 unfortunately was destroyed by some kind of anti-tank weapon. And there was the drone footage. The drone even flew pretty near to the Leopard 1 to make sure to identify that it is a Leopard 1. So this also proved that this is not a game changer, and apparently Leopard 1 is just as destructible as a Leopard 2. Because 1 is clearly better than 2, right? Because the first, then you get second. So first place is definitely better than second place. Anyway, let's go on to the Southern Front. At the Southern Front, the Ukrainian forces continue to have a presence over at Kreminna, with information of Ukrainian forces getting more reinforcement. A new assault group has been deployed into this region, and their first mission after they come in is to go into the forest. Again, they are trying to establish a stronghold or some kind of a footing around in the forest region. And this attempt was actually reported by Ryba, the pro-Russian source. They talk about an attempt of doing this by another force first in the middle of the night, and then after they got get into a lot of trouble with the Russians bombarding them, they withdrew, and then a new force came in to try again. And on top of that, there is bomb airstrikes in this area here, in this region here, in Kreminna, by the FAB bombs. In case you do not know, FAB bombs are just dumb bombs, just bombs, air bombs, that World War II style bombs with wings, which they can fly to target. So so yeah, so that's it from the Kherson Front or the Southern Front. Before we go into the Zaporizhzhia Front, there is a particular geolocation that I usually do not talk about the geolocation so far away from the front line, but this is particularly interesting. It is a radar system that was destroyed by a Lancet drone. So the Lancet drone actually hit somewhere around this area just off Velika Kostromka. So this is actually a bit far from the front line. If you go from the geolocated location all the way, is 25-30 kilometers, probably 30 kilometers off the baby ne. And so this is actually quite a distance, which means that there is not a lot of safe place. 30 kilometers is very far, right? But if you try to walk 30 kilometers, you will know it's far. Now, if you drive, then it's you are cheating. So no cheating, no cheating. Anyway, moving into the Zaporizhzhia Front. This is the Zaporizhzhia city and the Zaporizhzhia Front. We move into the Orikhiv sector. At the Orikhiv sector, we have the Russians attacking Robotine, as well as towards the west of Verbove. The Russians are making this biting motion again. They're trying to chew, or this is like the Mario, the Super Mario, that flower with teeth. Whilst the Ukrainian forces is pushing for Novoprokopivka. This is reported by the Russian Defense Ministry, while the Russians attack is reported by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. The Russians did mention about Robotine, but maybe relating to the previous day's report. I'm not exactly sure. And there is geolocation of Ukrainian forces in the north of Robotine getting hit by kamikaze drones. Is becoming like very common thing. The Ukrainians are also using all these kamikaze drones, particularly FPV ones. But based on the number of footages I saw, it feels like is leaning towards the Russian side quite a bit more. The Russians have a lot more drones. So, which is kind of a weird thing because the Ukrainians actually started the drone army first. The Ukrainians actually tried to do the drone army first, and end up, it seems like the Russians seems to have more drones on the front line. So this is kind of a unsettling. We move on. There is nothing over the Huaipole sector. We move into the Velika Novosilka sector. At the Velika Novosilka sector, in case you missed yesterday's report, the Russian forces have captured this northern part of Prione. They take over this part, and this allow a more, a stronger defensive line all the way stretching to Staromayoske to the north of Prione. And this time around, what we do get is the fighting reported in the southwest or south of Staromayoske. According to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, they reported there is an assault, which is always unsuccessful, in case you do not know. Because if it's reported, it's usually unsuccessful. If it's not reported, it's usually quite successful. So the unsuccessful assault in the southwest of Staromayoske, this is also reported by Ryba. Ryba use the word outskirt of Staromayoske. So it could be southwest. I mean, it could be in this direction. And then the Ryba's report is actually in the south. It could be the entire of the front line. So there is not a lot of defensive position. If you look at the mapping here, the Ukrainians clearly have the town, and then they have the tree lines, and that's probably about it. And maybe this is about it, unless they dig some trenches around this area here, maybe like in the middle. Then it's not very defendable, Staromayoske. But from my memory of drone footages of this region, I don't remember seeing such entrenchments. And so this is happening. The Russians are pushing. I'm not sure if they have any intent to capture Staromayoske. The battles here is going to be very slow. Apparently this is clear from this geolocation. This video geolocated by Creamy Caprice shows quite an extended footage of the battle between the Russian squads and the Ukrainian squad that is holding the position over there. And it was quite a tragic video footage, which I don't think YouTube will like it if I post it on YouTube. But anyway, at this location, they basically attacked the Ukrainian forces that was in this position, and then another force actually do a flanking movement to the rear, to where the Ukrainian forces usually stay, in the trenches or something. So one or two soldiers, Russian soldiers, was hiding in the trenches when the Ukrainian forces that was engaged, some of them run back to the trenches and then they got shot. So this is quite tragic, and it just reminds me of how brutal war is, and I really don't encourage you please do not try war at home. It's very unhealthy for you. And so this is not exactly reported. Maybe this is not a very recent footage. We do have reports of fighting west of Staromayoske on the 22nd. This may be what this footage that appeared on the 27th may be referring to. And so if this is true, the Russians are actually slowly pushing in this direction. But given just by looking at the battle, you can tell that every day's progress is counted by 50-100 meters at most. So it's gonna take forever for them to even clear this tree line of like 1.5 kilometers. So just to put some perspective into reality. So while I know I draw arrows like nobody's business, this arrow will take like maybe like 2-3 months to actually fulfill the arrow. So anyway, there is there is a report of fighting over at Uruzaine, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. And so most likely, again, these are all probably fire missions and not really assault. And we move away from the Velika Novosilka sector into the Donetsk Front. So this is the Donetsk Front. Donetsk city is here. This is the remaining of Donetsk Front, because for those that are not aware of, if you have been following me long enough, you will know that the Bakhmut Front, Avdiivka Front, Niu-York Front, they are all part of the Donetsk Front. It's just that this region here, I don't give them a local name. So end up, the Donetsk Front is still existing in only here, whereas the rest of the Donetsk Front have their own name. So over the Voleda region, the Russian forces is reportedly attacking Voleda and Vodian. So the Vodian here is reported by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry as per the Shatak's direction, which is actually around this area here. So the only Vodian is actually this one. So it means the Russian forces is pushing north of Mikhailsky, and then the attack at Voleda is actually reported by the Russian Defense Ministry. We shall see how this goes. Maybe it's something, maybe it's not. And I think Shatak's, I'm not sure if I can show you where is it. I can't remember offhand, so forget it. Yeah, it's around here. So we move on into the Novo-Mikhailivka region. There is fighting reported here as per usual. You can see it's very consistent for the past 20 days, unrelenting. According to the Russian and Ukrainian Defense Ministry, the Russian forces are pushing Novo-Mikhailivka. So nothing much new. Marinka is the same thing. We don't have any much new information as per. It's always the Russians attacking in the Marinka region, but it never seems that they will capture this town, despite how flat it is and how easily they could have overrun the position with just a few more armored vehicles. But no, they don't. They just want to hold this position for the fun of it. So that's just how it is. And the Ukrainians, being Ukrainians, their strategy is always do not even let go an inch of land, and this basically put them into this very stupid position where every time the force that was defending here was destroyed, they would just send more troops to take over their place, and then they get destroyed again. So yeah, not a very wise strategy. The Russian Defense Ministry also interestingly mentioned Georgievka or Georgievka, some kind of a Ukrainian attack in this region here, which is kind of unusual because we do have the reports of fighting at Marinka. I'm not sure how to interpret this, so it's a question mark for now. And there is geolocation of Ukrainian forces getting hit by FPV drone over at this position, geolocated by military summary. And that's it for the Marinka region. Oh, we do have another attack reported at Krasnohorivka, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. So in this line here, you will see this. Basically, this is what's happening, and with maybe this push here. Yeah, this is a strategic look of what it is. It's a bit different from how when I was young, how I imagine war is like. I would imagine the entire line is pushing all at the same time, and then they will all push out at the same time. Apparently real life is a bit different. No, it's only just one point, just one point like that. Yeah, we move on into the Avdiivka Front. This is Avdiivka. Over at the Avdiivka Front, the Russian forces continue their Avdiivka offensive. In the past 24 hours, the attack mainly comes in the south of Kalinove, Novo-Kalinove, towards Stepove, in the south of the Tonenke, and then as well as Povomaisky. It's a lot less intense. This is reported by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. So the number of locations mentioned is much more lesser. We do have quite a number of geolocation, particularly in the north of this western flank of Vodian. You have geolocation by Kreminna Caprice showing that the Ukrainians are holding this position while the Russian tank drove over here and fired at the Ukrainian position. So they fired at this position. Let me zoom in more. So the Russian tank basically moved up along the tree line and fired at the Ukrainian position along this other tree line. So this actually corroborates our front line. I didn't actually move the front line at all. So the front line is actually very accurate right now, at least regarding this area here, on the western part of Vodian. And the another geolocation is a drone attack on Ukrainian position on this entrenchment. If you look at this satellite image on the Google Maps, you can see the amount of entrenchment around here. This is basically like a fortress, and there previously I thought this was captured by the Russians, but apparently it's not, because due to this geolocation, Ukrainian forces is still here. So which means that the Ukrainian forces is actually holding the line in this way, while the Russians are holding the line along this Dacha region, which is also crawling with end lines, and yeah, you can see it's like, it's like an ant nest as far as I can tell. And further up north, just north of Stepove, is another geolocation of the front line. In this area here, it is actually a Russian squad attacking a Ukrainian position just across the railway line. Is actually another very brutal footage, which, yeah, no, I just hope that I think most of the world will not see it, but no, I hope most of the people will never need to know how brutal it is. Moving on, over at the New-York Front. At the New-York Front, there is fighting being reported at Pivdene. According to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, they say that the Russians attacked Pivdene. They repelled an attack over here. Yeah, that's all we know. I can't tell exactly where the attack come from, so we shall wait for more information. We move into the Bakhmut Front. In the Bakhmut Front, in the southern flank of the Bakhmut Front, we have the Russians continuing their Bakhmut offensive with reports of fighting at Klishchiivka, Andriivka, and Kudyomivka. Ukrainian forces is reportedly counterattacking over at Klishchiivka region, and that's about it. Information coming from clearly mainly the both of the defense ministries. Just to note about the old scene is that there is actually a lot lesser information coming from the open source intelligence. Most of the information actually coming from the defense ministries. I'm not sure what's the reason. But there is the significant reduction in terms of the details of the battles. Maybe there's really not that much things happening, or maybe they are distracted by other things, by like the Israel-Hamas war. I'm not sure. One interesting information is the Russian Defense Ministry reported fighting near Artyomsk, which is actually Bakhmut. So according to this report, the unit of the Yoke group of forces, with the support of Air Force and artillery, actually took some more advantageous line and position, according to how they phrase it, which means that there is some kind of push somewhere. We are not sure where they get they improve the lines a little bit, and this is actually interesting. No, it's just interesting to me. And geolocation in the northern flank of the Bakhmut Front, there is geolocation of the front line, another assault on the Ukrainian position just off the eastern part of Bodanivka, which is over here. This location. This invalidate previous mapping that the Russians were already at this line. So the mapping is actually slowly getting pushed back further and further, showing that the Ukrainians actually have a much more advanced line, which actually do makes more sense than the previous 2-kilometer push. But the fact that the Russians are already at this location, it is not exactly a fake news. 2 kilometers. It's just that maybe in these 2 kilometers, half of it is actually more of a gray zone than a Russian position. So Bodanivka itself, we also see the reports of fighting according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. So yeah, it could be this attack that is geolocated. Maybe this is the one that is referring to. And we move on away from the northern half of the Bakhmut Front into the Siversk Front. This is Siversk. At the Siversk Front, there is no reports of fighting. However, we do have a geolocation in the chalk mines, or the chalk quarry of the Bilohorivka, and Ukrainian positions along on the quarry got hit by FPV drones, suicide drones, or FPV drones. So that's it from the Siversk Front. Nothing particularly exciting per se. They move into Kreminna Front. This is Kreminna. At the Kreminna Front, the Russians is the ones on the offensive, with the attack over at the leg of the pig, at the mouth at the pig, and the ears of the pig. So basically, towards Kharkovka, Torske, and Terny. So we didn't see any reports of the Ukrainians attacking over at this front line. The Ukrainians and the Russians do call this the Liman Front, but currently call it the Kreminna Front, because Liman is actually a bit far away now, because Liman is still here. So anyway, we shall continue to monitor the piggy here. Do you see the pig head? The nose is here, then the ears, and the eyes. Haha, wants to eat the lemon. So this lemon over here is still very far away. I don't think they will manage to eat the lemon for the next half a year. We move into Svatove Front. So at the Svatove, we do not have reports of fighting over this region. Merely the geolocation of this Leopard 1 that was destroyed by some kind of anti-tank weaponry. So and that's it from the Svatove Front. We move into the Kupyansk Front. So this is Kupyansk, and this is the Kupyansk Front. At the Kupyansk Front, the battle currently is raging mainly over in the northern part of this front line. Particularly, we are talking about the fighting at Sinkivka and Petropavlivka, with the Ukrainians counter-attacking over Liman, Pershi, and Sinkivka. So this is the situation. There's a geolocation of this. Apparently, the Russian forces managed to kind of entrench themselves around this northern outskirt of Sinkivka. The Ukrainians sent a tank, sent a tank out and basically hammered the ground very, very heavily. There is no clear indication. There's no clear indication that there is any troops over there, but that is what the video footage show. And the tank basically was unmolested and basically hammered the ground in various positions around here very, very heavily. I will be posting this footage maybe in 12 hours time. I'm not sure. I already uploaded into the YouTube. I'm just waiting for the right time to release it. So let's see how this goes. But it does shows that the Russians are indeed a lot more advanced than I previously thought they are, because previously the front line was drawn in something like this. So this is actually a bit much more advanced than I expected. So basically the battle continues around this region here. But there is another geolocation to mention about. This one is a bit far from the front line. If you look at it, it's around 6 kilometers. The reason why I show this geolocation is mainly that this Lancer drone hit a self-propelled artillery unit. So I just want to show how where are the artilleries. So this is the kind of distance that artillery can shell positions in the front line. This is how far they can be. So quite a distance. So artillery systems are very important in a war in this way, because they are actually quite far away, but drones are making them more and more vulnerable. So that's it for the summary for the day of 643 for the 28th of November. Do press the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next update.